Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Show. You do not want to miss today's show. Settle into your seat. We've got Mr. Thomas Elliott, the CMO of a company called 23Vitals on the show today. And Thomas and his team have been able to develop what they're calling the ultimate fuel for an unstoppable immune system. This is a newer product that's just come out. And let me tell you, from the early reviews that we're seeing, this is going to be an unstoppable product. Thomas, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Let's pull the lens back right away because everybody's interested in health and nutrition, especially now after, the pandemic's been hitting the world for the last 9 months or 12 months or 13 or 14 months, depending on who you listen to. What is 23Vitals all about, and how did you come up with this amazing product?
Yeah, so great question. And from our perspective, our immune systems have been under attack for a long time, way before 2020. And things worked out perfectly from the standpoint of me and the other 4 dads who got together to do this. We didn't know each other before 2020. So we had just met and we were working together on another project that we were excited about. That's still going. And when this thing hit, for me, it triggered some deeper emotions because I've been living under a lockdown for longer than 2020. Going through my own journey of healing. And so when I recognized how much stress was going to be an X factor for many people above and beyond a few weeks, I started to think through how are we going to do this? And my initial reaction to what to do was, hey, team, what should I be taking right now? What should I be using? What should I give my son? And we put together a big laundry list of supplements, went on Amazon, went on Google, DuckDuckGo, and we shopped it. And we came across a bunch of different products from different brands, many of which you guys know from either Whole Foods or wherever you shop, Amazon. And what we found was if you really thought through every part of the immune system, which for me, it was a learning process. I didn't really know how complex it was. There's a lot of stuff you could be taking. And my shopping cart was north of $300. I think a few other guys on the team were $250, $220, all over the place. And for me personally, I thought about my grandmother, my mom, my sister, and there was no way I was going to be able to afford to cover, that every month, for them. But one thing I did recognize was that I did feel better, at least knowing that, I was covering all my bases. So that was how our convo first started. And we didn't really decide to make something happen until May of last year.
See, I really like this story because you skinned your knees a little bit. You had some personal, perhaps, challenges in your past. And we spoke before the interview a little bit to get ready for the interview. And from that came this beautiful flower that you got together with your other 3 partners, and you decided to come up with something that people could afford that would protect them, and not only them but their families, in terms of a supplement that's called 23Vitals. So I love this story. It's really a sort of a winner story where you skin your knees a little bit in life, and then you get up and you look around and you find something you become passionate about, and then you put all your energy into that. It's a wonderful entrepreneur story. So when you were developing 23Vitals, Thomas, I know you had a team of experts putting it together. How long did it take you to put this formula together that now the early sort of testimonials are that people are just loving it.
Well, yeah, that's a great question, because there's no way I would have been able to do this myself. And the synchronicity and timing of how everything happened, it was too perfect for me to sit back and not take action on it. The fact that I had the best doctor / nutritional formulator who's been doing this for 30 plus years, I just created a relationship with, that by pure happenstance. I mean, that was powerful. And then from a flavoring perspective and, manufacturing perspective, we had the best in the game. So we have these pieces where, you got industry veterans who've all been either building brands or marketing brands or producing the products that you see in Costco or wherever else you shop. And, we moved quick. The big thing was when we decided to do this, we came we had a phone call, and the gist of the call was, if we're going to do this, it has to be the absolute best. I said it then, I'm like, if I'm on a podcast with somebody, and I'm a big fan of podcasts, with Joe Rogan, or I'm talking to Ben Greenfield, I got to be able to know that this thing is the most well thought out, product for the immune system, and that we, have all the right intentions. So before we went into this, we made it a point. If we're going to do this, this has to be people first. We got to make every single decision based on what's best for our moms, our grandmothers, our sisters. And that's what we did. And we moved quickly. And we would never have been able to do that if we weren't all owners of these companies and able to come together and pull money. We didn't get an investor. We put our own money in. And we probably won't make money for a while either, but it doesn't matter. So, I mean, entrepreneurial spirit wise, it's the epitome of it in, amidst one heck of a year. So it's impressive, and I'm happy, and I'm proud of the team doing it so fast.
See, that's amazing. So the team put together and created something that you as entrepreneurs wanted to make great. And we hear that with great entrepreneurs, from Steve Jobs to the people that run, Silicon Valley, or people that have Series A, B rounds, where their commitment to their customers to provide the greatest possible thing that they can. And that's what you've been able to accomplish with 23Vitals. So let's talk about 23Vitals a little bit. I know you mentioned that you have a child. Let's just say I'm a family man. I've got a wife and a teenage son or daughter, let's just say. How does 23Vitals come into our family? Is this something that everyone in the family can take, or is it for adults? How does it work, and how did you formulate it in that way to sort of prepare everyone to defend and support their recovery from anything that crosses their path?
Yeah, let's talk about that, because it's a good question. So we can, without question, put together a formula that's more specific for the kids. This was created for the adults, the people that need to have their heads and their hearts in the right place and connected. And the only way to do that is with the removal of fear and stress, and being more. Not all stress is bad. The awareness, the increased awareness of how stress impacts the immune system. And when we thought through it, it was like, well, who's this for? Who does this need to be for first? And we built it for people that, have been living in survival mode and not even knowing it. Because for me personally, that was me. That was me. I'm 5 years sober, and up until that point when I made that commitment, when my son was born, I was living a hard life. I put my immune system through, hell and back, and and I became addicted to the emotions and the adrenaline rush that comes along with stress. And parenting my son, and going through some really good books and learning about conscious parenting and becoming more attuned with him, one-on-one time with your infant or toddler, where you're just focused on them, you unravel a lot of things that maybe you didn't know about. For me, because I'd been drinking since I was 14, I learned that I was doing that to really escape some of the emotions that I had to solve when I was really young. So, we thought about the people that we were going to need to solve problems. And right now, we have a lot of problems that need solving that require coherent thinking.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And we know that there's the good stress and the bad stress, and we know that the bad stress is killing people left and right. We know that bad stress leads to all types of disease. And there's so much disease in the world today from stress. Plus, there's so much disease from what we eat and lack of activity and being on our smartphones for 8-10 hours a day, and the kids growing up obese, that the world needs something that sort of is an easy thing for them to be able to get their arms around, that maybe sort of starts something in motion in their life to get them to become healthy. And that's what I'm hearing a little bit about 23Vitals. Is that sort of the idea behind it?
Exactly. Exactly. Because there's so many layers to healing, and that journey is different because we're all unique and we all had different experiences, growing up. And so we thought, what can we do to spawn that thinking, to start even thinking about, what is stressing me out in life. And so 23Vitals for us is like, hey, if we can get people taking the right things that cover everything and have it be affordable and taste great so they remember doing it, that's one less thing to think about that allows them to start looking through all the other things that are required, to make some changes proactively. And
see, I love this. I love this idea because, I take supplements. I've got, 9 bottles, 10 bottles of supplements in my medicine cabinet. Every night I go in, I open up each little supplement, I pull one out, and I've always said to myself, well, why doesn't somebody come up with something that's a lot easier to take, a lot easier to sort of manage, where I don't have to have all these different bottles of all these different things that I take? Is that sort of the idea behind sort of the simplicity of 23Vitals, where you want to give them everything that you possibly can in some easy to take fashion so that they don't have to worry about that, and that doesn't become stressful in their life?
Yeah. So there are foundational micronutrients that everybody should be taking, just because there's lots of toxins, there's lots of things conspiring against our immune system every day, known and many unknown. And so there's fundamentals that you should take. And most people know about these micronutrients. And as we get older, our immune system becomes, it's not as strong as it used to be. So they have to take these things. What we did, going above and beyond with the thought, was like, hey, let's try and help educate people about the immune system. So how can we do that? Well, let's think through all the things that are required above and beyond support. Because right now, most companies that are putting immunity on their bottle or in their advertising, they're only addressing the micronutrients for the most part, or they're just addressing the gut because, most of our microbiome is living there, good and bad. And so we thought through everything, every cell, every molecule, how they work together. And we wanted to paint a picture where, could you imagine, every day we walk around and we're carrying an army on us and within us. And when you think about, how to motivate people, a team, a company, whoever, and you think about the types of things that you can say or think or share with them that are going to impact performance, we're like, hey, let's make this a fuel where not only will we cover all the science and we'll make it taste good and we'll make it easy, but let's put the intentions of that love and energy into the formula, knowing that I want someone to drink it and immediately feel it on a cellular level, that their body absorbs it. And when you read the reviews, that's exactly why most of the reviews are like that, because I know the impact of it. I have many, many, many miles that have been run, shoulder to shoulder with paratroopers at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where we put on extra miles because the staff sergeant or sergeant first class who's singing cadence while we're jogging, that stuff fires you up. You get tingles on your arms. We are energy, and inside of us, we have energy. And if you think about your immune system as a team working together, cells, skin, germs, fungi, all these things, everybody with a specific job, one job that they do extremely well, highly focused, where you can shift the lever with how well they go based on your own thoughts. You got something powerful. You got something powerful that leads to many other things. So,
well, you do have something powerful here, because the initial reviews are exactly what you're saying. People are opening up a jar of 23Vitals. They're taking their daily ritual, and they're indicating that they're feeling this sort of energy that you're talking about come through the 23Vitals product. And part of that is obviously the technology and the nutrients and the chemistry and the biochemistry and everything else that goes along with that. But the thing that also is interesting is there's this sort of spiritual thing that you're talking about, that each one of these cans, I believe, is made with a purpose. And that's something that's really hard to define, and it might be a little esoteric and a little too out there for some people, but for many people, that's important as well, because they want to know that the people behind the product had that good energy. And that's what I'm hearing from you. Is that right, Thomas?
That's exactly right. When I wrote intentional science inspired by love, I meant every ounce of energy in every letter. I meant it, because my son, he is my why.
I love it.
He's how things changed. So, I understand the power of that when it comes to healing. And I think more companies in the future will be doing things in this way, where it's people first, and the intentions are just as powerful as the technology or science. And when you combine the best of all these things, I think we can do some magical, amazing work, for people. And we wanted to kind of lead the way with that. And because we'd all been in the industry for a long time, trust me, money makes the world go around, 100%. You gotta be able to make money. You gotta be able to make profit, pay people, all that stuff. At the same time, there's an opportunity for continued improvement there, where you're able to sacrifice $1 here or $2 there to make a better product. Our cost of goods on this product are more than some companies selling one element of it, per ingredient. So what we did is very unique. We're happy and we're excited, but more people need to hear about it.
Well, they're going to, and obviously you're a great spokesperson for the passion and the spirit that you put into each one of your jars or bottles. The early testimonials are very, very powerful. And people watching this, by hearing you, are going to want to give this a shot because they can see how passionate you are about 23 Vitals and what you've been able to do to put this ultimate fuel together. So it's very interesting when you think about entrepreneurship, sort of having a spiritual element, which is what I'm hearing here. And from your perspective, it's your son that you look in the eyes and you know that through that energy with him, you want to make a product for other people that's extra special, so you can look yourself in the mirror, look your son in the eyes, and know that you've done something great for people. So there's going to be a lot of people watching this that are going to want to give this a shot. They're going to want to see what 23 Vitals is all about. And based on some of the early research that we've done, what you're putting in each one of these jars is really amazing. Like, you're just packing it with nutrients and packing it with things that other people aren't really doing because they're cutting corners. And what we've discovered from looking at the ingredients is that you haven't cut any corners on this. As a matter of fact, you put more in than what you needed to put in. So that's really, really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. We wanted to make sure that with this first rendition, because there's always going to be ways to improve. You know, with this first rendition, we wanted people to feel safe and know that everything was intentionally dosed to give them what they need, understanding that we don't know how long that we're going to be living in a stressful environment. And from what I can see and tell, anytime you go through a tough year or subsequent tough years, it takes a toll. You know, and when you have kids that are home and not in school, you know, they need your attention. They don't need a stressed out parent. They don't need a stressed out, you know, argument. They're absorbing everything, every word, every image. We don't need parents at home watching the news, you know, for 2-3 hours. They should be hanging out with their kids. All of those things, they place imprints on the young mind subconsciously. And these are the things that have to get unraveled later. And I know I'm 43. It took me, you know, until my late 30s to start unraveling stuff from I didn't even remember, you know. So what we did is important. And there's many people that are sharing information. There's so many documentaries and smart people that have dedicated their lives to this. We're you know, what we're doing is simply just trying to carry on and add and amplify, you know, these messages. You know, everything's connected. So
yeah, I love what I'm hearing, Thomas, and I actually can see from what you're saying that 23 Vitals, you know, potentially becomes almost a healthy lifestyle brand, because you almost have this element about you of being a life coach. And I know that your other people in the organization and in the company are very passionate about helping people in their lives. So maybe it not only the supplement, but when you go to your website, you kind of get this vibe that you guys are really like, you walk the walk and you talk the talk. And I can hear talking to you today, which is really, really fantastic. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I can't sell something without being all in. I can't, you know. I've never thought of myself as a sales guy. You know, I grew up with young parents and I saw them work extremely hard. And I spent some time in the military with some good guys, saw a lot of things I liked and saw things I didn't like. And I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. And as an entrepreneur, you're solving problems. And it's difficult to solve problems and make the right decisions when you're not coherent. And that's where the stress epidemic, living in survival mode, you know, negativity, you know. And there's many times this last year when I thought, man, how awesome would it be if there was more news or more of a light shined on positive imagery, stories of coming up. You know, my son now, he'll recognize when I'm down and he'll elevate me. He's asking Alexa, Rocky IV soundtrack. Because and it comes on. and because he sees it elevate me, we get fired up. Alexa, please turn off, please stop. That's how good Alexa works. So, I think that if we can be a part of this movement of people coming together and connecting, and at the end of the day, what's it all about? What's it all about? It's about people recognizing how unique and special they are individually, and how powerful our bodies are working through things. We can survive anything, and the whole thing with the spirit and spiritual and that esoteric, all that stuff. Listen, I love learning, and every time I learn something new, I try and apply it. And I've learned a lot. So when I learned about the power of water and resonance and earthing and all these things, why wouldn't I apply them if I recognized a shift in myself, prior to all of this, so yeah, I'm happy you saw that in the copy because it was intentional.
Yeah, it was intentional, and it definitely comes through. Now, there's going to be people that are obviously going to want to come and buy some of the 23 Vitals. It's 23Vitals.com. I believe that's the website, right?
Right.
23 Vitals, the numeral 2, the numeral 3, then vitals.com. Love the name, by the way. And so some people watching the interview here, they might be saying to themselves, I love everything I'm hearing. I mean, Thomas is, amazing. And I love the fact that this is a product that's built with love, where they put everything and more into it than what they really needed to, and spent a lot of money developing the product. They might be asking a little bit about sort of the development of it from the medical standpoint, from how it was developed. So maybe you just want to touch on that just a little bit for those people that might want to have that question in their mind answered before they go to 23 Vitals and press the button to buy a jar.
Yeah, 100%. Go to the website. We just added a new page. We have the first 2 links next to the logo. The first one is the immune system, immune science, where we provide more clarity into all the elements, every part of the immune system, many of which most people do not know about, how they work together, what these special gifts are. So when we broke it down into 4 parts. Everything required to prepare, which is essentially that first line of defense. To defend, we've got cells in our body that their whole job is to identify and neutralize threats. To support, our blood flow, the communication, our gut, how we process food. There's many, many things. And as far as recovery goes, when we get a fever, or when we feel down, or when we feel stressed or fatigued, our body's telling us, hey, Tom, slow down, take a break, lay down, and that's when we heal. We heal when we sleep. We heal when we sleep. We heal when we rest. And it's okay to press the gas pedal. Problem solvers are pressing the gas pedal hard. I train every day, and I have my work week split up because I have my son half time. So when I have him, it's Tom and Mikey time. When I don't have him, I'm getting 2-3 work sessions in a day, and I'm training. So the gas pedal's slammed. But when you become more aware and attuned with your own body, then you can start to listen, and the fuel that's in the product addresses all these things. Like, if I sense I'm tired, I take a scoop. If I work out or go on a long workout, I take it right after. We didn't create it for this, but it's without question the best post-workout recovery fuel out there right now, period. And sometimes I'll mix it with protein. The orange flavor. It's an orange Julius. Phenomenal. The second page, we break down the formula. We put it this way. When we say everything was thought out intentionally, go through that page and look at how every part of that formula is designed to support each group of, we call them immuno warriors. We want people to think of an army inside of them and on them doing what they do. Think about, like, they work together and they protect us, their job. They've been doing it since we were born, you know? So we want to make that human connection, you know, within the same time. We thought through it fundamentally. There's 7 branded ingredients in this formula, bioactive ingredients that, you know, have clinical trials. We have over 50 clinical trials on these different ingredients, all of them chosen for a reason. More expensive? Yeah. Was it the right decision? Without question. It's not. We could be charging $300 for this. It's 99, and right now I have it discounted to 57 because if we don't get this in millions of people's hands, we failed. So, you know, right now people need to hear about it, know about it, try it. If they like it, keep it. If they don't, money back immediately. You know, no questions.
See, I love it, Thomas. That is a unique selling proposition that you don't hear very often. Go to the website, check it out, read everything, educate yourself about it. There's 2 new links on 23Vitals that goes deep into it to tell you what's in the product and what they do and how they interact with your body and with each other. Thomas is giving a special deal for $57 right now. Is that right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep it running because we did it for family and friends initially because we wanted to get people to try it and we wanted to make sure that everything was, you know, on the up and up. If we had to redo it, we would redo it. But now today we just launched advertising, so you know we're gonna be scaling that up. People will be seeing it in their Facebook feeds, Instagram, Twitter, Parler, you know, search. We got 30, 40 different reviews from different publications already circulating. So, you know, people are going to hear about it and see it, but we're going to keep the discount going as long as we need to. I mean, the more people we impact, the better. That's the win.
Well, I love it. And if passion and science is a direct correlation to success, we're DotCom magazine is very pleased to have 23Vitals on early because I think we're going to look back on this interview and say to ourselves that we were there at the beginning of something that's just going to become a monster. So, Thomas, I want to thank you for sharing some time with us today, sharing your personal story with you and your son and how you developed 23Vitals with your partners and the medical team and what your passion is all about and the love and commitment that you put into this product shines through with what you've said. Anybody watching this is going to come by a vial or 2 of the 23Vital. And thank you so much for coming on the show and best of luck with your new product. It's remarkable and the early testimonials are really, really fantastic.
Thank you so much. I mean, thank you so much. We will remember this interview because when you reached out, you know, and I know you reached out a few times, apologize for not responding, but I'm so happy that we connected. You know, I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate you.